One of the biggest questions I get asked is, how do you print from Lightroom? And it's a video I've been avoiding doing for some time now. And that's because I generally outsource my printing to a local printer because he does it quicker, he does it cheaper, and he does it on fantastic paper like this paper here. This is Hammer Mule Photo Rag paper, and it's a little bit more expensive, but it's fantastic. And if you're making limited edition prints, then you go for the best quality. That said though, they actually do prints onto Fuji paper and it's so inexpensive. This sounds like I'm putting you off home printing, doesn't it? Don't let me put you off home printing, because it's something I did for years and I used to frame my prints and sell them in local galleries. So don't let me put you off. Printers today are fantastic. It's just that buying ink all the time and paper, and it's just something I avoid. But for the purpose of you guys and this video, I am going to show you how easy it is. Now, I'm going to spice things up, because rather than just print something which would be easy, I'm going to print at a certain size. And let me show you, we're going to do something like this. This is a photograph I captured in my local park, and I've printed this at home on my printer, on my inkjet printer, and it's been resized to fit inside this IKEA frame. And when I say it's been resized, what I mean is, if you look around the mount, this is the mount that comes with the print. Around the print is a 1 centimetre space. This white space looks really nice, I think anyway, and it really does set the print off. And so that's what we're going to do. So it needs to be resized. We need to take measurements, and then we need to sort of transfer those measurements into Lightroom. And I thought that would be a bit more exciting than me just sending a print off to the printer, because that's pretty easy. So this is the one we're going to work on then. We're going to do a print of this on my inkjet printer. So this is the one we're going to do of Anfield Stadium, and minus the lettering on the bottom, unfortunately, but that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to take you right through the process of how to do it. But first of all, we need to jump into Lightroom, don't we, and take a look at the print module. So once we're inside Lightroom, all you've simply got to do is just select the photograph that you want to print, and make sure that the module is active up here. So if you can't see the word print, just right click and then just select it. And then this photograph here of Madrid, for instance, if I just jump now to the print module, it's ready almost to be printed. Well, not quite, because we can make some adjustments. First of all, I'm just going to click on the page setup, because I want it in landscape format. So I'm going to click on OK. So now it's ready to be sort of messed about with and resized or whatever. Now I'm assuming in this video that you have a printer and that it is talking to your computer. I can't help you with that part. As you've seen there, when I went to page setup, I have my Epson printer. It's already set up with the printer driver and stuff. I'm sure you've got that. I'm sure you've printed stuff from your printer before, so you know how to do that. Now, on this side, we've got various templates that we can select. Now, I'm not going to go through them all. Let's have a little look then. There's all different sizes. You can see that. You can make contact sheets. You can do all kinds of stuff. The one I like to go for, or the one I suggest you go for, is maximum size. And when you go to maximum size, it's obviously going to fill that paper. Now, it doesn't go edge to edge, although you can do that. But I find that printers that print edge to edge, as it gets towards the edge, the print deteriorates slightly. And I can't see the point in printing edge to edge anyway, because you need to put a mount on. And if I took my print to my framer who frames my stuff and it didn't have white space around it, you'd have a heart attack, I think. So we like to put that white space around. So first of all, select that maximum size. Now, I don't want to make a print of this, so let's just show you something else then. In my library, I created a collection, and I put a selection of prints in that collection ready to be printed. Now, if you don't know how to create a collection, I've made a great video about that, and you can watch that after this video. So let's jump back into the print module, and I can locate that collection. So just expand the little box there and find it. There you go, printing from Lightroom. And there's 4 prints in there, and lo and behold, there's the Anfield Stadium print that we want to create. Now I need to resize that. And when I do resize it, ready for this IKEA mount, this IKEA frame, when I do that, I will also create a template. So whenever I bring another photograph in, it will always be perfectly resized to go inside that IKEA mount, which is quite clever, isn't it? Let's just take a look then at what we've got down the right hand side. Then we've got layout style. Well, obviously we're going to do single image, so we just leave it on there. Image settings, we'll come back to that because the zoom to fill, actually if I click on it now, you'll see what happens. You can see that there's white space just above the print and below. If I click on zoom to fill, it will fill that space. So now it's perfectly sized on that piece of paper, isn't it? Not for the IKEA frame, it isn't, but it's perfectly sized for that piece of A4 paper. So next one is layout. This is the one we're going to look at because we need to change those margins, because we need to bring them in and bring them down so it fits perfect in that mount. So we're going to come back to that one because I need to show you the sizes. Guides, have them all switched on, why not? Not doing any harm. Page, this is where you can put your watermark in or your identity plate. I'm not going to bother with that, but you can create one, you can put your own sort of logo on your print if that's what you fancy doing. And then print job, and always select a print resolution of at least 240. I like to go for 300 dpi or ppi, and it's like industry standard. Color management is an odd one because in Photoshop I would select the option that allows Photoshop to control the colors, and I can't seem to find it in Lightroom. So what I've done instead is I've clicked here on the profile, I've clicked on other, and then I've located this sRGB, because when I send my prints out to be printed by my local printer, that is the profile that's attached to them, sRGB, and again that's in industry standard, so I would select sRGB. Let's take a look then at the sizes and what we need to make them to fit into the actual IKEA frame. So to get the dimensions right then to allow for that 1 centimetre space around the actual print, all I did was I took my ruler and I just measured, and I can see that that is 29 centimetres or 290 millimetres, as I like to say. I'm sorry if you work in imperial, but in Europe we're all metric. And this is 200 millimetres or 20 centimetres. So that's what I did. I got the dimensions from this hole, basically. And we, framers call it an aperture. An aperture is just a fancy word for hole, isn't it? So I've measured there, basically, and I've measured there, and we want a centimetre all the way around. So that's the way we're going to do it. So let's jump back onto the computer and I'll show you how I calculated the sizes. As you know, a A4 piece of paper is, the long edge is 297 millimetres and the short edge is 210 millimetres. Now I measured the opening size, remember me doing that before, and the long edge for that was 290 millimetres and the short edge was 200 millimetres. So I need to come in 10 millimetre all the way around, 1 centimetre, 10 millimetre, same thing, all the way around. So 200 millimetres minus 2 centimetres or 20 millimetres is 180, isn't it? And 290 millimetres for the long edge minus 20 millimetres is 270. So that would be my print size. That's what I need to tell Lightroom to print at that size. So looking at this then, the print area is what I've just said, 270 millimetre by 180. Now I need to do the maths to work out the margins. So let's see how I did that then. Calculations, ooh, it's all getting a bit technical, isn't it? So I know that a piece of A4 paper, the long edge is 297 millimetres. And all I need to do is subtract from that the size of the print, which is 270. That leaves me with a size of, a measurement I should say, of 27. And I just need to divide that by 2 for each side. So that's 13.5 millimetres each side. And the same thing for the short edge. 210 minus the size of the print, which is 180, would leave a dimension of 30 millimeters, and then quite simply just divide that by 2, which is 15 either side. By all means, you can pause the video, can't you, and sort of mull over those dimensions. I am an ex-designer, so I am a bit technical sometimes, but I think that's pretty easy to follow, isn't it? And you're going to see now in Lightroom how I sort of convert that with the margins to get the print size absolutely spot on. So let's do that next then. So back in Lightroom then, we can now put those dimensions into the margin settings, and that would give us the perfect size print to fit inside the mount ready for the IKEA frame. So let's do that then. We go to layout and we just need to type in those dimensions. So here would be 13.5 millimeters. Same here. Here would be 15, and here would be 15 as well. So that would now be sized perfectly for that opening. Now I'm just thinking, what does it actually say there? At the top it says 269.99 by 180 millimeter. That's what we had. 269.99 millimeters. I'm happy with that. It's close to 270, isn't it? And the other dimension was spot on at 180. Okay. I just want to check a few more things. We look at print job. I'm going to make sure it's on 300 ppi and it's on sRGB, like I said before. And I've got it set to perceptual. Leave it on that, it's fine. And that's ready to go to the printer. So I just need to click on print settings. And this is where it's different for you, perhaps, because you're going to have a different printer and I don't know what paper you're going to be using. So that's for you to experiment with, isn't it? I know I'm going to use my Epson stylus printer. I'm using matte paper, which I love, and medium and quality. You can change all this stuff, but I'm going to stay in photo matte paper and the best quality. So I can save that. And all I need to do now is click on the print button. So I'm going to click on the print button and I'll see you once the print is finished. And for some reason, I've got a Wi-Fi printer and it seems to take ages. So I'm going to go nip off and have a cup of tea and I'll see you back here when the print's done. Oh, I can see it, it's coming. When I bought my first printer, I always remember the first photograph that I printed was a photograph of the dog that we owned at the time. And I was almost in tears when it came out of the printer. I couldn't believe that you could actually do that at home. So home printing is quite exciting. Progress report. A little bit more has popped out. Is your printer as slow as this? Or maybe it's because it's a really old one. It is Wi-Fi though, it's amazing. It's going from that iMac all the way into space, all the way down to this printer. Nuts, isn't it? Here it comes. When it gets a bit faster like that, you know it's going to pop out. I think the printer gets excited as well. I think that's what it is. Way! There we have our print. I'm going to put it in front of my face. Not ideal, but there you go. That worked fantastic. So our next step now is to pop that into the IKEA frame. Let me just disappear for a while I move this printer out the way. So here we have it then. This is the print that's just come off the printer and it's fine, isn't it? It looks great. Now we need to put that into the IKEA mount. So first of all, let's see if it fits. And have we got our centimetre all round? And it certainly looks that way, doesn't it? It certainly looks that way. So I'm going to tape that now to the inside, or tape it on the inside to the mount. And what I do is, I don't think you need to watch me doing that part, do you? I just use a little bit of this stuff. Now you can get corners that hold your print in place on the back, but let me go away and just tape the back, because I'm sure you don't want to watch me do that. And then you can just do the same if you're following along. So I'll see you in a second or two when I've done that. So after a little bit of tape and a little bit of time, I've got the print now attached to the mount. So if I just turn it round, and you can see what I did. Now, I'm sure there's better and neater ways of doing it. In fact, I don't normally do it that way. I have little corner pieces that I slot it in, but I couldn't find any. But just be aware that if you do tape a print to a mount board, you could damage the print if you ever remove it from the mount. But seeing as I've just printed it myself and it cost me nothing, I don't care. So that's what it looks like. And you can see the border around the outside. The IKEA frame comes with this really thin, horrible piece of plastic because they can't, sort of sell them with glass in. And to be honest, I don't sell my prints with glass in either. I use high quality acrylic. So this is a piece of acrylic sheet. Now let me just measure how thick it is. Just excuse me for doing this. It's about 2 millimeters thick, but it's nice and firm. And so that's what we're going to put over the top. And straight away, when you put a piece of glass over your print, or in this case, acrylic sheet, it looks fantastic. Right, so now we just need to pop this into here. In it goes, a bit of a jiggle around to get it in. Right, it's in, which is the right way. Okay, and then I just need to put the back on it. Okay, so that goes into there. And again, a bit of a jiggle to get it right. And then I just fold these little, it's only a cheap frame, isn't it? It's only a cheap IKEA frame. IKEA. And bend those over and you'll be amazed because we've just done this together. There is the print. Let's get it into this camera so you can see. And that looks great, doesn't it? It looks super professional. Is that camera doing it justice? I don't know. Only you can tell me that, can't you? But I think that's great. And as I say, it's inexpensive, isn't it? It's home printing. You saw, hopefully, and it all sort of stuck in. I'll put it back onto that camera there so you can see it. Just left a bit, right a bit. Yep, so you've seen how easy it was to do that. It's a little bit of calculation to get that right. Oh, by the way, let's jump back into Lightroom because I just want to show you one more thing. We can now make a template of those dimensions that we used for this IKEA print. So any other photographs will fit directly into that template. And so we can print as many IKEA. I mean, these are so inexpensive, these prints, that you could have a whole wall and they do a nice black one. And I don't work for IKEA. I don't get any money off them, but they're so cheap. Anyway, let me show you how you just create that template. So once we've done those sizes, quite simply go into the template browser and I'm just going to click on user templates and then click on this little plus icon here and I'm going to type in IKEA small frame. Okay, and then just hit create. And that is there for me next time I want to make a print. So let's do that. Let's come out of this print module and go back into the library. So back into the library, let's go to, let's see, oddities, what's in there? It's a bit of a worry when I do that because I don't know what's going to be in there. Let's say, this one here. And then go straight to the print module. And there you go. It's already fitted perfect inside of that template for IKEA. Now I can go in and change it. I can go and select a different template and do a different size. But yeah, that's how you set it up perfectly to do an IKEA frame like this one. So I hope all that helped. It's fairly easy, isn't it? To print. There's not much to it really. But if you run into difficulty or you've got any questions, just post them down below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. There's loads of different printers, isn't there? And it can be a bit confusing. I'll try and help if I can, but I think it's relatively simple. And I hope you enjoyed that little guide to how you resize the print to fit specifically inside a mount. Because I think if I would have just made a video about how you print from Lightroom, it wouldn't have been that interesting. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, thank you for watching and you take care of yourself and I'll see you in the next upload. Bye for now.